Welcome to the Natural Healing Reel. I am your host, Jackie. Our guest today has been a singer, performer, and workshop leader for many years. For the past 20 years, she's been a holistic voice teacher, and she comes our way after experiencing a personal tragedy. Her program is the Crystalline Voice, Transformation Through Sound. And if that's not enough, she's a licensed certified vibrational sound therapist, publisher of The Voice of Women's Wisdom, which you can find on Amazon. And she's the member of the Sound Healers Association, Holistic Business Association, and Natural Life Business Partnership. Please help me welcome Ruth RatLiff to the Natural Healing Reel. Hi, Ruth.
Hey, Jackie, thank you so much for inviting me. Really, such an honor to be here.
Oh, I'm excited. This is kind of new, cutting edge. I don't know if it's new, but for our society, I believe it is. And I'm so excited to hear about. I don't know if we can get it all in on one podcast. So let's just share how this all began for you is usually a good place to start.
Sure, sure. Yeah, everybody has their story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I was a performer, a musician, a singer for many, many years of my life, and then a voice teacher for 20 years. So I felt almost this journey into sound therapy was like a natural progression for me. And I focus a lot on the voice, like in my program, Crystalline Voice, among other things that I offer, because I noticed that from my own experience growing up in an alcoholic family dynamic, and then I lost my family through tragic circumstances before the age of 30. And so I had a lot of heavy energies and emotions that I needed to process. And I absolutely know for myself that my relationship with music, with singing, with sharing my voice, with exploring vocalizing, helped me move through and transmute those trauma energies. It's your voice is like your own, it's your own instrument of healing. It truly is. So with that said, that was why I wanted to explore even further the potential of it to heal and to expand you. It's not just for we have to heal first, right? So now we expand after the healing.
Mm-hmm. And our voice gives off this vibration, which I think like our whole body vibrates and it lifts us. We were chatting earlier about I like to sing as well. Before, I think all of us like to sing in the shower, or I hope we do. But a lot of us don't probably trust to sing out loud to people. So for people like that who are shy and think they can't hold a note or sing, is there hope for healing through through your voice and singing?
Oh, gosh, yes. It has nothing to do with singing. It has see, your voice literally, like you say, this is such a huge subject because the voice has been used for thousands and thousands of years in all sorts of cultures with, combined with music and dance to move energy, to move stuck energy and for healing. And they're not worried about, whether they're flat or pitchy or not, or if their voice doesn't sounds good. It's really about being authentic and fully self-expressed with the voice. People are very, especially in our culture, I think, American Idol and The Voice and all that are great shows, but I think they did us all a disservice because people feel like they have to sound like that to sing, and everybody's like, oh my God, I mean, these are, these called the top of the crop here. They've studied voice for many, many years. They're professionals. Not everybody has to have that kind of an instrument. Your instrument is beautiful because it is yours and yours alone. It is unique expression of your soul in this density. It is your soul's expression in this physical, literally. that's where you want to come from when you're making sound. So I would tell people that have a little shyness about even starting, say, a practice of vocal toning or even singing in the shower or the car. uh, it's it's really about, it's not about how you sound, it's about how you feel. How do you feel when you're singing the, like, the most amazing song in the world? Like I love Journey. I'm an 80s girl. I grew up in the 80s, so I love
I love
I love
Journey.
80s rock, you know. And Don't Stop Believing comes on the radio. I can't control myself. You know? Do I sound
That's
exact? I don't sound like Steve Perry.
so funny, actually. I have to just share with you because he
Please.
and my very first love of my life, after 40 years, have reconnected. And he wasn't able to listen to Journey anymore for 40 years because that came out when we were dating, and we went to the concert and we would sing it, and then all of a sudden, and I didn't realize I hadn't really heard it much since 40 years either. All of a sudden, Journey is on every time. I have never heard so much Journey in the last few months. Isn't that
Isn't that
funny?
interesting? Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I
I think spirit communicates with us through music as well.
think you're right.
How many times have you heard just the right song or a song that is exactly this? Say you're thinking about somebody that passed and their favorite song comes on, or just a song where the lyrics are so poignantly relevant to what you're going through, you
Or
know?
answering the question to something that you have been asking, and then you're thinking, really? Is that the answer? Of course
Yep.
it is. Excuse me one moment. I have to just close it
Sure.
because somebody's decided to mow their lawn.
It's live. It's live YouTube here, live podcast.
Right? Authenticity. We love it. So sorry, carry on. I
No, it's
thought it
okay.
was
That was
great that
good.
you said how much you love Journey.
So yeah, it's just, it's how you feel. I mean, it gives you this beautiful high vibe feeling inside of you, and it clears away a lot of the crap, a lot of the cobwebs, because it's vibration. Like we're all vibration. So yeah, I tell people to just start, uh, allow yourself to come from that position of honoring your voice rather than dishonoring it by comparing it to other people, because there's no comparison. Your voice is as unique as your fingerprint. There never will be another like yours, ever.
That's interesting, right? Because I don't think we think about that, do we?
Nope.
Like at all. And I
No.
think we're all very, very judgmental of when we hear our voice, like that's what I sound like, right? Like because we don't hear ourselves, we think we sound a certain way. Interesting.
Yeah, and if you do, there's an exercise I'll work with my students with, where you cup your ears forward, and then if you start speaking or singing, you have it's a much more accurate representation of how you sound to other people, because the low frequencies tend to hang here and the high frequencies travel out farther. So you're only getting like a partial complement of your voice inside of your head, plus you're hearing it through your skull, through bone. So there's a lot of reasons why it sounds a little different. But
Yeah.
yeah, I tell people to just make funny sounds. That's what I work with more anymore, Jacqueline, is because I retired. I hate that word, but I stopped voice teaching to focus more on the sound therapy last summer. And I really work more with organic sounding now, which is really cool because you wouldn't believe what starts coming out of your mouth and what you can clear with just allowing the voice of your body to come forth. So that's what crystalline voice is all about. Is I will mentor people and work them through that with somatic movement, and EFT tapping, and journaling, and then using organic sound to connect to parts of their body. It's very healing.
Well, and how many of us don't feel heard?
Oh, nobody, as far as I know. Yeah,
I know my sister passed away a few years ago, and
sorry.
she always said to me, she ended up getting a very quick stage 4 throat cancer.
Oh,
And it was right through my dad passing and then a separation going through with her husband after many years of being married. But I remember her always saying to me, I just don't feel heard. And at the end of it went very quickly, unfortunately. Um, and at the end of it, she literally had no voice, even though they put in the tracheotomy. Um, and it really, really gave me a deeper understanding of how important what you're speaking about is, because a lot of us are just not confident enough to state our truth because
yes.
people shut us down or we're embarrassed or whatever that is, it's so important, this what you're speaking about.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
I'm so sorry for your.
Yeah, yeah. And interestingly enough, my dad was a jazz pianist for his whole life, right? So
Oh,
we
wow.
grew up in, and
Hmm.
all three of us girls sang all the time in the house. Christmas parties, all the musicians be over, and of course we'd be singing at the top of our lungs, and it was always quite the fun party, right? But a beautiful, beautiful voice she had, but just wasn't able. She just wasn't feeling heard. So interesting, interesting.
Yeah, fascinating actually. Yeah, it's I've heard and I do believe this that our healing or the I should say the representation of the symptoms of what we have, the pain that we have in our biofield, it starts out there and it comes into the physical. The physical is like the last manifestation of the trauma.
Interesting. I've not heard that before. That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
It starts in your energy body. And if you're familiar with, of course, a lot of people speaking now about past lives, oh my God, what the stuff we're carrying, right? is wow, what a load, right? So that's a lot of times that will come in. And if there is that constriction or that not being heard or being shut down, of course everybody has varying different levels of that. It doesn't mean that if you don't feel heard you're going to immediately get throat cancer. It doesn't mean that. There are a lot of different levels to that, but yeah, it's fascinating to me, that's how it shows itself in the body. And I think our body as a repository, so to speak, for these energies, these constrictions and traumas, it speaks to us in so many different ways. And it speaks to us for many, many years sometimes before sometimes we don't listen at all. And then it has to like slam us, hit us with a 2x4 by giving us, a stroke or whatever, to really pay attention. Hey, look, you've got some healing you've got to do. So I do feel that the body's intelligence is trying to help us with our healing. I do.
I totally agree with you 100%. I landed on my head 3 times and I'm going, okay, what?
Literally, you
Man,
landed like you hit your
really,
head.
yeah. First went off a swing head first, feet flying in the air, head first into the cement. Another one right out the
Oh,
door to try to catch the baby going down the stairs. Boom, another 5 feet head first. Like just, just silliness, right? And I'm like, okay.
what are you trying to tell me here?
I know I'm clearly not picking up the message.
Yeah, you wonder like what, especially when things happen, they over and over. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, but we are not, so many of us are just not aware. You see my little angel wings are popping up. It looks like a mustache behind me, but they're angel wings that are hanging on my fireplace.
I see them now.
um, yeah, we're just not paying attention. We kind of think, but then so many of us just brush things off as coincidence, or I think it's just the lack of awareness and education that we have not had.
Exactly. How
That's
how
why
could we know?
things like speaking with you and you sharing this incredible wealth of information, it's so important, right? So important because people, I don't think that we hear this stuff. unless you're having know somebody, or you have a conversation with you and or somebody who's experienced and has this. It's just invaluable.
You
So
know, it is. I think it's definitely, people need to hear this more and more. And I'll tell you something, I need to speak it. I need to speak.
yes,
I'm a healthy skeptic. I'm,
goosebumps everywhere.
right?
Goosebumps everywhere. You do.
Thank you, right?
Yeah, my whole body's on end here. Sorry. Yeah, that was a truth.
Yeah, I mean, this is something for me. I say it's all about me. All this journey I'm doing to help other people is really about why. It's about my journey of healing. And I've seen crazy stuff. I've seen UFO orbs. I see them in my house. Little I've seen crazy little things going past me. They look like little, what are they called in the sky? Forgetting word. Sounds like
I love
comet,
comedy.
little
Yeah,
comets, right?
I
I
have
mean,
video of that. I have so much video. I had a video outside my house, and I came down in the middle of the night, and I literally have me videoing my video cameras of orbs and things. It's just incredible what is going on around us, and we have no idea.
no, but even with all that. And all of the stuff the clients will tell me about me, during after their sessions, and I still have this conditioning that's going, well, maybe, you know. So
Yeah,
that's what I say.
yes.
We were not brought up with the belief in real magic, real magic. And there's a book actually out by Dean Radin called Real Magic. I highly recommend it. I love it. He's a scientist, a skeptical scientist, and he's like, oh no, it's magic. It's science and magic together, right?
These are my favorite people, these scientists that are proving this, like Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden. I mean, they are scientists and they won't share anything unless it's tried, proven, right? And it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And still, even at that, people will be dismissive. So
Right.
it's a society, I believe, conditioning that we have had for so long, you
Oh,
know.
absolutely. So many overlays of mistrust. And I think, honestly, I don't know if a lot of people are like me, but generally, we're more similar than dissimilar. Than There's a part of me that really, really, really wants to believe. I mean, really wants to believe. But it's like a little girl part of me, but she's so afraid of being disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Totally do. Totally
Right?
right following along with you. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a little girl, I grew up, I saw spirit of my mom
Very cool.
and and then of course I was very young and was laughed at, and so I kind of went through a lifetime in fear because I was seen and I was very sensitive to the energies around me, and it was scary because I had nobody to talk to or share. When I did share with my family, my sister would laugh and and even
Oh,
as a teenager
Jacqueline.
and stuff,
Oh.
right? And so
Hmm.
yeah, it's something I know to be truth. I know that we're eternal. I know energy is infinite, but this whole just not educated, just ignorance to what is really going on. How are we really connected to this universe, and how do we work properly, right? Well, this is probably one of the biggest keys is what you're teaching.
Yes. 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 Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just started binge watching Ghost Whisperer. Is that the name of it? Remember that show way
Yeah,
back when in the
yeah.
90s?
Is it good?
I like it.
I
Oh,
haven't seen it.
she had and I was thinking about you. She had her grandmother to mentor her because her grandmother could also see spirit. So she would, she had somebody in her life, and I mean, it's a fictional character, but I kind of identified that with you a little bit, being, I can't imagine what that must have been like for you to not, uh, to be seeing these unusual things that other people can't see. Oh my gosh, that's,
And just to be laughed at about it,
and
right? And
oh, that to be ridiculed. Oh,
yeah.
for something that this is what I see, this is my experience. Talk about being disempowered.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it's been a life
oh,
being an awareness that a journey that I've been through for sure.
of healing. Yeah, yeah. But now we're beginning. See, now the people that now you're coming into your own with that, right? Because we are giving people that can do that, that have this gift as you do, so much more, not only credence, but we're going to them for guidance, and but boy, you came through fire to get
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely chose a whole life of fight or flight for some reason. Just yeah, these last few years of hit the wall drama down in the cement. Yeah, really. I well, they say without the darkest night, you don't get infinite light. And so,
beautiful.
though I get kind of like, oh my God, you've had, I get kind of that, oh, poor you, and that kind of thing. Everything always happens to you, type thing, which is such a negative. It makes it feel worse, right? But it's all perception and how, yeah. And so I've really learned this last while how to re-perceive, and I think that's kind of a whole journey for people who are waking up.
Wonderful. And that's probably a big reason why you're doing this podcast too, right?
It is, yeah, yeah. Loss of my daughter and my father and my sister and my granddaughter and my
Oh my
daughter's best
gosh.
friend, and it all happened on top of the beginning of these concussions and just brain traumas, and going through separation with my husband. It was just got into an unhealthy place, and it was like if there was another thing that could go wrong, it did. So
Oh,
grateful to be here, grateful
yes,
to be
yes,
alive,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
it this is how Dark Night of the Soul, I started this podcast. I wasn't really understanding that I was starting a podcast, but I was spoken to on Brian Rose from London Real was, and I signed up, and next thing you know, I didn't even have a selfie. I was, I'd never been in front of the camera. So I've just been working through it and moving through it, and I'm not a professional, but I am authentic, and I
Yes.
am sharing the wisdom and the awareness of what's real and what's really needing for healing instead of the oxycotton and whatever else they are feeding our society.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not healing us, it's killing us.
Well,
So
you are a warrior.
apparently I was in
Yes.
warrior mode a lot,
You are
trying
a
to
warrior.
step down.
I mean, that you're still walking around on this earth with all that loss is a testament to your strength. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
yes, and thank you for this podcast. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So,
Um,
so you were playing those singing bowls for me, and I know those that when you played that, the sound of those bowls behind you hits you in the soul in a place that is almost like an instant healing feeling. Tell
mm.
me about. Can you share about those bowls?
I sure can. Yep. Give you a little bit of I love the science. I was a
Yes,
bio major in college, so I love science and I love the melding of science and spirituality. I think they belong together. I'm not talking religion and science, although there's a lot of spirituality in religion, even though through the dogma. But yes, we have this melding, and that's what I really love doing. So yeah, it's based on the premise. Sound therapy is based on the premise that everything is vibration. The air around you is vibrating. The chair you're sitting on is vibrating. You are vibrating. We are beings of vibration. We are made up of many, many, many different frequencies. And sound is actually a vibration that can travel through air, liquids, and solids. And it actually has the capacity to shift us biologically and energetically. As I was talking about our biofield earlier, it shifts that. And it uses the metal and crystal singing bowls, the voice. There's a gong behind me you can't really see, and other instruments like chimes and so forth. And these are all unusual instruments. They all have their own particular attributes. Like these bowls have, I can't reach it. These bowls have a lot of resonance. You can hear they expand a lot, and they speak to a lot of different frequencies in our body. And the crystal bowls are usually at least one frequency, but they are more monofrequency, and they produce what's called a sine wave. And we'll do a little demo later. You can hear that, and that puts us into a very deep state of relax. So all of these bowls and sound therapy in general is made to trigger the relaxation response. That's one of the basic things that sound does, but the therapy does. Sound is a physical thing. It can actually affect us physically. It can reform matter. We're already using it like in ultrasound for cleaning your teeth, breaking up kidney stones, ultrasound for to image the babies in the womb. And if you like, say you have like a glass, the woman with the singer, right? So what's happening is the resonant frequency of her voice is in training or syncing up with the resonant frequency of the glass. And that is how it starts shaking, and then it breaks. So sound therapy isn't breaking anything, okay? We don't do that. But what it does do, it decreases your heart rate, your blood pressure, so you get into a nice deep state of zen. And it also can facilitate the release of hormones as well, like melatonin. It can connect the two hemispheres of the brain. You know how we have the right and the left, and they do have different attributes? Well, it can create a neurological bridge between these two hemispheres, and that can get us into a really wonderful state called the resting brain state, which has been coined by neuroscientists. And in this resting brain state, we can access heart-brain coherence. So if something's coherent, it's in sync, it's in balance. So that's where our brain and our heart, they talk to each other nicely, and they're communicating on a very deep level. And that can open up all sorts of perceptual doors to creativity, to focus, to problem solving. Also, I talk a lot about healing. Yes, they have found in different studies that, I don't know how they figured this out. I'd like to know this, but that trauma, energy, it's all energy, right, is actually held in the nucleus of our cells. And that, sound therapy can be a reminder stimulus to release that trauma. And that's the premise of the work that I'm doing with crystalline voice. But another piece of it is that I've noticed for myself too with this work because I'm surrounded by it a lot, and I've noticed that I don't get triggered as much by life's ups and downs. I have a much more sense of equanimity and balance and focus, and I'm going to call it grace. And my clients will tell me that. They'll say, after a couple sessions, they'll be like, I'm noticing like shifts in the way my perception of things. And it helps you process. There's a processing going on because of that, the coherence between those two hemispheres and with the heart. And Jackie, have you ever heard of heart math? You probably have, right?
Yes, I did the Joe Dispenza course, and
Oh
it was
gosh, great.
introduced a few years ago. I did the advanced course in Vancouver here. Joe came, and they actually gave us all heart math
Beautiful.
because they were testing it back then. And I have a heart math app, and it's you put I'm listening to it, and it's so incredible. I mean, that's where instant healing can happen, is in that space, right? I mean, that's where people get up out of wheelchairs, is in that space of brain heart coherence. And and like Greg Braden and all those scientists find out that the heart has a brain, right? Like it's a whole entity organ by itself. And, we used to be like, do you listen to your heart or your head? And we never really knew which one we should be listening. It was like the people on our shoulders type thing. And the knowledge, it's just so incredible right now. I just love it and love what you're sharing, because it's real and it's powerful and it's ours.
Yes, and it's ours. It is our birthright, indeed.
Our birthright that we've not been shared.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I love it. I love the information that's coming out about the heart now. It really is the master of the body, the master of us. I really think that's our soul's resting place, the locus of our soul. And because there's so much more information, they're finding out that the heart sends to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. It's something like, what did they say, 10,000 times more powerful electromagnetically than the brain. And it also produces hormones that were previously and neurotransmitters that were previously thought to be only produced by the brain. The brain's great, but it's like our computer. I really, and I'm not dissing on the brain, because I love my brain, but I feel like the balance.
Well, and that's really important what you're saying, because I didn't understand that either. The subconscious brain, which what do they say, 60, 80,000 thoughts a day that we're having, is just a computer chip. So we're listening to this all day, which are the same thoughts we had yesterday usually, which are negative if we start to listen to them. And they're not even real or true. They're a perception or something we heard that we take in as truth. And it's just phenomenal what the information now, and makes sense why we're sick.
Why we're where we are, right? No, the awareness of this is growing in leaps and bounds. And thank you, finally,
Yeah, right.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's and just to believe, I think the idea that we all, we always have to have proof, and it has to be scientific proof. Okay, let's take a look at science right now. The knowledge of human science. What's our knowledge of the known universe? If that, right? I mean, hello. There's so much, what has Shakespeare said? There's so much in heaven and earth, Horatio, that man has dreamed. We just don't know. So let's, like Dean Radin said, let's open our minds. Why are, because of all this ego crap and this probably, this information is being suppressed, but it can't be suppressed forever. It's coming out.
There's too many of us that have, I think, touched into it now.
Yeah.
It's so, when you get a taste of that, like just you playing those bowls, I now understand why just immediately I was like, oh, right? Because it's, well, you were just explaining, right? It touches you and right. Balances, like it's just something so profound that there's not really words to explain how that feeling is. Once you have a taste of that, that's a better feeling than any feeling you'll have. And so, so you just want to start to explore and to have more of that. And it's good stuff.
And a lot of it now, there are a lot more scientific studies being done about the effects of sound therapy through psychoacoustics, the field of psychoacoustics and so forth. But so much of, sound therapy is now experiential. It's really like science. Sound therapy is like a transitional science. we're really, the experiential part of it is, you can't ignore that, and that should not be discounted. That's huge. What people say, oh, after I come for a session, I walk in feeling like crap and I leave feeling great, okay. Why would you discount that? Oh, it's the placebo effect. Okay, see, I have another theory about the placebo effect. But I think the placebo effect is actually the power of us. That's our power. Why would they discount the placebo effect? I have no idea. But anyway, be that as it may, it's mostly experiential at this point. So we're almost like developing the science that is coming up to explaining why this works,
Yeah.
So it's actually pulling us along to open our minds more, like with quantum physics. So that whole field is fascinating to me.
Yes, and people need to lead. People like yourself, right? Need to stand up and lead, and to live, and to show that this is real. Yeah, this is, yeah. Thank
And
you.
to share. Yes.
To share.
And
Yeah.
to
And
share.
sometimes people don't want to share because they don't want to be laughed at or walking through that fear. I know I walk through it just to do, this podcast because but they're going to say something anyway. So
Oh, there's so many more people that are more, they want this. A lot of
I
people, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I, so, and did you come upon this? You had a bit of a personal a tragedy in your life, and is that how this kind of really came forth for you, or how did?
Yeah, I think I've honestly been preparing to take on sound therapy for my whole life, with my work with sound and music, and also with the trauma, also developing my own intuition. I don't see spirit per se, but I have heard, I'm clairaudient. At times I have heard things, heard messages. I feel like I get messages in my heart a lot, my heart space. I feel like I can feel. I think that's one of my gifts is my intuition and just knowing things. I just know them, you know.
Yes.
Like one time I had I was working probably an hour away, really nasty commute, at a law firm. Fun stuff working with lawyers. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I love you all. but yeah, it wasn't a very uplifting environment, shall we say. So I wanted to, go to another type of job. And I went for an interview with this at a retirement community to be an executive secretary there. Yes, this is like 30 years ago, more than that. And I walked out of the interview and knew beyond the shadow of a doubt I had that job. And it was the craziest feeling because I had never felt that before. And even the next day, the executive director calls me and he says, "I'm so sorry. Thanks for coming in, but we gave the job to another gal." I hung up the phone and I went, "No, I have that job." Sure enough, guess what? The next day he calls me back and gave me the job. So from that, a gal knew that I taught voice. And she asked, "Hey, do you know of a voice teacher that can, teach my daughter?" And a voice that I swear was not mine, Jackie, I swear, came out of my mouth that said, "Sure, I can." And I went, "Okay, I guess I can." And from that, I needed an accompanist because I could play scales, but nothing more. And I put an ad in the paper, and I must have had 15 applicants. And I talked to each one of them, and there was one guy who I had this really nice heart feeling about, and I have been married to him now for 19 years. So if you don't think you're guided in life, oh, you're guided.
Love that story.
And then we have a piano voice studio that we've had for 20 years. He still teaches piano, So yeah, it's follow that heart feeling that you have. That's there. I mean, those red flags when you meet a person, you're interacting with their heart field, right? Aren't you? Their torus field, that beautiful toroidal field around our heart. We're interacting with that, and that's telling you something. So, and even you're interacting with the grid, the universal grid, the matrix. That's how I knew I had that knowledge. It came in.
Well, and growing up, my dad was a jazz pianist his whole life, and I tip my hat to him because we weren't wealthy. Because, well, I mean, I think we could have been, but there was too many children, so he played it safe and ran the union. And played 6 nights a week and live rate. All my teachers didn't know who he was. But there's something. I just tip my hat to him because he followed and did and was able, even though he worked day and night, was able to live his passion. Right?
Oh,
And
would have been a happier man for it too.
well, I don't know that he was real happy when he was younger because of traumas and stuff that were unaware to him when he was younger. He did get to unfold and unravel all of, what happened that shut him down. But it's interesting, right? Because as you say, we're healing generations, right? We're generational. I mean, these hurts and these things that energetically we're carrying are generations old.
Yeah, the ancestral healing is huge now. There's a lot of people doing that work through past life regression, through QHHT, if you're familiar with that modality too. Quantum healing,
Okay.
where they put you. It's a hypnotherapy, and then they regress you back,
Okay.
way back,
Way back, yeah.
like other life, way back.
I did a podcast on the ayahuasca journey. And then I was just actually at my naturopath yesterday, and he had told me he had actually gone through it, and he said it was the first time he'd actually felt at one with, and he's an energy healer, he's a chiropractor, the naturopath, like he's
Wow.
quite an incredible man, and it's interesting. Like we have so many incredible tools that we've had for centuries that we're just kind of bringing to the forefront and making aware,
Yes.
right? We got to
Yes.
make it all hip and cool. People jump on the train, right?
Well, I'm amazed at how many people want sound bowls now. Everybody's asking me, do you teach? Do you teach this? Do you teach this? Where can I get these? Or they'll tell me, oh, I have a sound bowl at home. I play it once in a while. Like a lot of people will say that. I think that's really amazing, but they don't know what sound therapy is, what sound healing is. So, but it's so, that's why I have a program called Ancient Medicine for Modern Times, which talks about all these scientific factoids I'm presenting here. Plus, I do, a sound bath too, sound meditation. So it kind of makes it more relatable for them. So it becomes more like it's natural because I'll compare it to music because music and sound therapy are very similar. Very similar. They do similar things in our body.
I have experienced a sound bath once, and I'm not sure why I haven't experienced it again. Just, I guess, just life and busyness. I have a coach that will do the sound bowls for me, but I don't know enough about it, but I really would love to learn because it immediately makes you feel at peace.
Mm. Well, and I tell people that they don't necessarily have to have a sound bowl. They can use their voice. And there's even just like one sound. I read this book. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's by Peter Levine. And he's a big name out now for vagal toning, for, healing trauma. And he said that he came across this sound, very simple sound, from the ancient traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Chinese, and it's just a voo, VOO. Now, could you conceivably do that on any sound? Probably, but this is how you just make a low sound, voo. In fact, I'll take it. Just put your hands on your chest if you want to do that, and your audience could do it too.
Yes.
Whatever comfortable low sound for you, just do it 3 or 4 times and notice how you feel.
to me what's happening there, because that vibration within here is doing something very powerful for
Yes,
sure.
it is. Yes, it is. And that was a video. That's the power, that's the vibration, the resonance of your voice. Your vocal folds are the size of a dime, number one, and they are resonating or vibrating extremely fast. Like on a woman's high C, they are oscillating, it's called, at like something like 100 times per second. Okay. And the last outer three layers, it's a mucous membrane. The outer three layers are like jello that hasn't hardened yet. So you're literally sounding, singing, vocalizing on fluid, on water, almost. Yep. And the vibrations are so powerful that when they suffuse through your entire being, and you mostly feel it, in your chest, your neck, and your head. But you can feel it as low as the lowest, down in your down in your abdomen as well, and you can certainly feel it in your back. So what's happening is those vibrations are percolating through your body, and they are creating beautiful sacred geometric patterns on the surface of the cells and in the water, the fluid in your body. And if you've seen videos of people who have shown what sound does to a drop of water, like on YouTube or TikTok, right, with those gorgeous patterns, that's sacred geometry. That's the sacred geometry of sound. And I actually have a video on my YouTube channel called The Sacred Geometry of Sound, if anybody wants to check it out. My YouTube channel is Ruth RatLiff Voice, I think. But yeah, it's incredible. Once you see that, you're going to be like, huh? What's going on there? Each frequency makes a specific geometric pattern. Okay, it's like if anybody's familiar with the sacred geometry with the platonic solids, there's a great program on Gaia about sacred geometry right now too. But I keep going off on segues and losing my train of thought.
Because you're talking to me.
So much information.
That's because that's my MO. I'll take accountability for that.
So yeah, so what's happening is each frequency makes a specific geometric pattern, and then when you put it all together with the resonance of your voice has all these overtones. They're called partials or overtones above and below the pitch. Like you're hearing one pitch. Guess what? There's tons of frequencies above and below that pitch that make up the entire complexity of your voice. And that's what makes the human voice so arresting and compelling and healing, is that it's way bigger than we hear with our ear. It can go in, and so, as I say, it can trigger all those patterns, those cymatic patterns in our body, and that can actually realign we have frequencies in our body. Our cells actually sing to one another in frequency, and they communicate because they have little hair-like projections called cilia that are like little antennae that take in sound like it's nourishment. So when you do your own voice, your own voice is singing to your cells, and your body loves it because it's your voice in your body.
I love the word nourishment, because that actually is exactly what it feels like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sound is nourishment. Yes. Energetic nourishment.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible information. Love this. Love this. So you teach the singing bowls?
I do not.
You don't? No.
I do not. I educate on the with my presentation on the science behind it, but I do not teach the balls not yet.
We need a new course.
Yet.
So when people come and if they wanted to come and do some work with you, what does that look like?
They can either do it in person or virtually. If they do it virtually, I will do this type of a setup with Zoom. It works very well with Zoom and my nice Blue Yeti microphone. They will be at home lying on a bed or a couch and with earbuds or headphones, and then I do a personalized sound bath for them for 50 minutes. And if they come here in person, I will put them on. This is a nice, comfy massage table with fully clothed with blanket over them. And then I put bowls on or around their body as well. And I also play the crystals and my gong and my monochord, which is a stringed instrument as well. And that's another. It's very compelling. It's actually more in person, of course, you know.
Yeah,
But that isn't always practical for people. Plus, I'm trying to reach a wider audience as well with
that's
the
right.
virtual.
And the the energetic healing, like distant healing, is really. I've been just doing some practicing in that with one of a coach that I have, and just with some friends, and really exciting because they'll say, they were talking, and at the same time I phone in, and they're like, "Oh my God, we were just talking about you," and I think Jackie was doing some work on me last night, and the, anyways, it's very rewarding to know that your intention to heal or to light somebody up with white light and just to see them whole and healthy and pure, it matters. It happened. It when we're sending those thoughts, they're a vibration, probably like a sound vibration, I imagine, right? Well, it's a frequency. Our thoughts are a frequency,
Right? It's
right?
all the energy and vibration. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and it and it's a thing. And I also remember doing at Dr. Joe's. We at the end they did these, where we were healing children that were they had gotten calls asking Dr. Joe. So there's 1,000 people doing distant healing, and it matters. Like what I have seen and experienced, it's real. It call it magic, call it whatever. It's a real thing, and it's something that once you have a taste of that, you just, how do you not want to know more? To help because when you're lifting, then
Yes.
you lift, right? Instead of this old formula of stepping on each other to get up onto the top of the ladder. I'm so grateful for this work because it's to lift everybody. It's the opposite of what we have lived for a long time.
Yes. Service to others rather than service to self. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it heals you. It makes you feel, yeah, yeah. I mean, whatever you're thinking negative thoughts about somebody, well, you're the one owning those. You're the one who's actually doing more damage to yourself because they're your thoughts, your energy, and then you're projecting. And then, of course, we know what we get when we're projecting. We get it back. So how powerful is this when you're doing this kind of healing and then you're
So,
getting more of that back from the universe,
yeah.
and it's thousandfold, I think, when it
So
comes.
powerful. Yes. 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 And there's a lot of talk, and you see it all over YouTube about this one frequency is going to cure this one thing. And I disagree with that. Everybody has their own. I think really it depends upon what your intention is. There's a very famous sound healer, Jonathan Goldman, and he has a formula: intention plus frequency equals healing. But intention trumps frequency. So I don't think there's a big. If you've heard about the big controversy between 440 hertz and 432 hertz, the tuning. 440 is evil. 432 is not. My balls are tuned to 440. There's no evil there, or whatever. It's me. It's whatever's coming through me, and my intention for my clients. Right.
Mhm.
That's, I believe, is, as you say, your intention with your thoughts is so powerful.
Well, yeah, because I think really what's happening is we're tapping into our God source, our connection, right? And then the more we tap in to that and the higher our intention is of love and of service, I mean, it just explodes, right?
Exponentially, yes.
Yeah.
So would you like me to do a little sample
I
sound therapy
love,
for
love,
you?
love that.
All
Love,
right,
love,
great.
love that. Okay.
So if you're sitting in a chair, just get yourself a little relaxed in that chair. Just nestle down. And allow your breath to find a little deeper expression now. Just breathe right from the bottom of your body, right from that root chakra. And you can exhale on a sigh. Anything that's holding you back right now from relaxing a little deeper, just little cares or concerns. Let it out. Allow yourself to just be for this short time we're together. And just start taking now a deeper breath. Let the breath bring your attention back into your body. I'm in a small room here, so I don't have a lot of
Oh,
space.
that was lovely. I can kind of opening my eyes, just have a look at see what you were picking up and doing. Very nice. Wow. Hmm. So I'm going to put all of your information on how to contact you, along with your story, with our podcast. And to sign up for a sound bath healing, we can just go to your website, your
Go to
web.
my website, yes, yes. And you can log on right there where it says book a session. Or you can just talk to me first. I offer a 30-minute call, free call to just like a discovery call to see what would suit you best, or just to get to know each other too, which is always nice.
Yeah, just so for people who aren't familiar, so they feel
Right.
comfortable.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Uh,
What a gift to have met you, and I hope to cross paths with you again soon.
Likewise, Jackie, thank you so much. What a pleasure to speak with you today, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. I am grateful. Mwah. Take care of yourself, and we will touch base on a sound bath, I think.
Would be my honor.
Take care, Ruth.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.